Honorable Chief Minister, distinguished members of the Cabinet, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it's my privilege to be the guest of honor at the Bengaluru Tech Summit. That this 24th edition, congratulations, is happening virtually is both a sign of the times we live in and of the capabilities we have developed to host thousands of participants from around the world digitally. The pandemic has expanded and progressed the digital transition in a decisive way and for many years to come. It has brought us into a new digital normal and put us firmly into the age of the fourth industrial revolution, where innovation is the engine of growth. The theme of this summit, Driving the Next, is thus both very relevant and extremely important. Nearly a year and a half into this pandemic, COVID-19 has demonstrated the continued need for agility in our thinking and action, especially when it comes to harnessing the new technologies. The digital transition will be crucial to stay ahead in the global economic recovery, and for India to continue its rise to become a major economic power alongside the United States, the European Union, Japan and China. It will be critical to master the ongoing fourth industrial revolution. It is actually the only way to thrive in the future economy. There are huge opportunities. Just one of the fourth industrial revolution technologies you are so familiar with, artificial intelligence, is projected to increase global GDP by about 15% this decade. 5G, the next generation of mobile and internet technology, is expected to generate another 13 trillion in global economic value and 22 million jobs by 2035. And innovations of the fourth industrial revolution are also key. They are essential in the transition to green, carbon-free economic activities. Indeed, we know that the green revolution is coming and necessary, absolutely necessary. It will require companies and countries to reach carbon neutrality at the latest by mid-century, hopefully earlier. One important way to get there is by investing in regenerative and nature-based solutions like the 1 Trillion Trees Project initiative of the World Economic Forum. But another crucial aspect will be technological breakthroughs, innovation in the green area. Of course, there are also challenges that come naturally along with great opportunities. I want to mention three. First, it is a challenge for many industries to make the transition. They were built for an analog era and are struggling to play digital catch-up. We can already see this playing out among manufacturers of goods and machines that were once purely physical, but are now part of the smart home or the smart factory. Manufacturers that adapt to this new reality thrive, are successful. Those that do not fall behind. Second, the technology divide, which separates the population between digital haves and digital have-not, is at risk of further deepening as fast and ubiquitous internet becomes the new norm. Close to half the world's population are still not connected to the internet, and the same is true for India's population. For many of those who are connected, Power cuts and slow connections put them at a disadvantage in the digital economy. And third, the possibility of a splintered digital ecosystem is growing with the so-called fragmentation of the World Wide Web, which is already underway. Overlaying all of those challenges is the reality that the fourth industrial revolution and the innovations it brings can create positive and negative externalities, can create unintended consequences. Recent news about the negative impact social media has on public discourse in countries around the world is just one example. The good news is that it is up to all of us here, to shape the trajectory of the fourth industrial revolution. We can harness its potential and remedy its pitfalls. But doing so is not an easy task. For governments, it's not always easy to discern how to incentivize and regulate new technologies and emerging industries, as the pace of change is so fast that only very few people can keep up. It is therefore crucial for all stakeholders of society, business, government, civil society, to work together to ensure that the fourth industrial revolution is a force for good and that it benefits all of us. It is why the World Economic Forum launched the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution in 2018. Today, we are present in 15 countries, including India, working with governments, companies, and experts on issues of technological adoption and governance. In serving as a focal point for cooperation, those centers are creating positive feedback loops and drive impact on critical global challenges related to technology, the environment, and people. They are pioneering an agile and human-centered model for development, implementation, and piloting and scaling of technology governance policies and regulatory frameworks. For example, our center in Norway is developing the world's first open-source ocean data platform, which will allow countries to better manage the fisheries industry and track oil and gas emissions, amongst many other applications. Just think of plastics. Our Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, India, too, is working on diverse initiatives across both the federal and state governments. One such example is our Artificial Intelligence for Agricultural Innovation project called AI for AI. AI for AI integrates advanced artificial intelligence and other fourth industrial revolution technologies in agriculture that are required to build the scope and pace necessary for digitally enabled transformation of the sector. But I'm especially proud today of the Center's collaboration with Kartanaka on the Center for Internet of Ethical Things. This collaboration will contribute to policy frameworks pertaining to ethical and moral aspects of technologies and help develop protocols that maximize the benefit of those technologies in a responsible way. Finally, with initiatives such as the Edison Alliance, the World Economic Forum is bringing together major technology and telecom companies to broaden the digital access of people around the world. The profound changes brought about by the fourth industrial revolution will challenge many countries as they look to have a major impact on competitiveness. Virtually all countries will need to quickly upgrade their economies, upskill and reskill their labor force, and update their protocols. But I'm confident that when it comes to India in general and Karnataka in particular, you will be successful. You have been a leader when it comes to advancing measures that support innovation, inclusion, and investment. You have a track record. There is a clear reason India has one of the largest startup ecosystems in the world, and Bengaluru is the startup capital. It is because the state has made a commitment to advancing policies that nurture innovation. I always have been a strong believer in India, and even more so in the fourth industrial revolution. With its young population, technical prowess, India has the potential to shape the global technological and economic agenda. I'm personally excited about India's startups. I know some very well, innovating across domains such as digital payments, online retail, education and software, and look to much more such startups creating global companies being born out of India. I thank the government of Karnataka for inviting me and look forward to our cooperation in the future.